This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We're an American couple with a deep passion for all things British, and today we're going to be answering the question, what does Peep Show say about British culture?
Socks before or after trousers, but never socks before pants. That's the rule. Makes a man look scary. Like a chicken.
We were introduced to Peep Show last year, and we kind of binge watched it during one of the many lockdowns that we were involved in. So, needless to say, this show has a very soft spot in our hearts.
It feels a bit weird, Dad. Shit.
Sorry?
Feels weird, Daddy-o. Good save.
One of the things that really drew us to Peep Show was that it is a thoroughly British piece of TV. Unlike other shows like Doctor Who that are simply set in the UK but don't really have that much to do with British culture, Peep Show is infused with the idiosyncrasies of British life, and there was a lot there for us to glean from and analyze about what life is like in the UK, specifically England, English life.
Yeah, one could say that it was a very educational experience.
It was like a documentary, basically.
It was basically a documentary.
I'm not really here. It's research. I'm Louis Theroux.
Maybe in another video we'll discuss what we love about Peep Show, but for today I think we're just gonna stick to what this show has to say about British culture.
He was giving me a massage, and I said stop, but he wouldn't stop.
But before we begin, make sure that you like this video for the YouTube algorithm, and bonus, for every like this video gets, Jez will hit Big Mad Andy one more time.
Yes! Oh, more!
And if you enjoy British culture analysis videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel for fresh content every single Saturday.
Right, let's begin. First up, we've got the class system. Something that has been really fascinating for us to learn more about during our exploration of British culture has been the UK's class system. And this is because the class system in the UK is very different from the one we have here in the States. If you want to see us react to the British class system and analyze that in depth, make sure you watch this video right here. So it was really entertaining to watch Peep Show because the show has a lot to say about the British class system. Of course, it's all very subtle, so if we'd watched it before learning about the UK's class system, we would probably have missed all these references, but now that we know about it, I feel like there's a lot of jokes, the characters have a lot to say about the British class system.
I'll put it there, and if for any reason we don't get around to drinking it tonight, you can take it back with you. Yes?
What are some of the things we learned?
Something that we've heard a lot about from resources like Watching the English is about that stereotypical, insecure middle class. And Mark is kind of a good representation of this caricature. He's very obviously middle class or lower middle class. And a lot of these things that we read in Watching the English were reflected in what he did.
In
and
his character.
How he was in the show.
4 none, Jeremy. 4? That's insane.
We'll touch on this more a little bit later in the video, but for now, who's another character in Peep Show that kind of like screams that stereotypical British class system?
Big Suze.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Big Suze is an example of someone who is upper class. They're a little bit above the worries and concerns of the other characters in the show. They're not really worried about money, which is a driving motivation for most of the other characters. They're not really worried about what people think about them.
Why don't we burn him with cigarettes? He won't tell you where your stuff is.
We're not going to burn him. Suze, that's horrible.
Another stereotypical portrayal of someone within the British class system who's kind of like below Big Suze, but definitely above Mark, I guess would be Sophie, who's probably like upper middle class.
Yeah, because her parents, they have a nice house in the country. They have Nana's cottage.
Nana's cottage.
Her dad goes hunting.
All very middle class activities, like upper middle class activities.
Often, Mark, you ejaculate quite a long time before I've had time to feel like I've started to enjoy our sex.
Thanks for that, Soph.
Question though, where would you put Jez on the class scale?
Okay, I think Jez would be up there with Sophie, upper middle, because, you know, he has his mom who had like a lot of money and she gave him a nest egg, which he spent.
Mummy gave me a nest egg and I kept on meaning to invest, but it turns out I've spent it.
He also seems to be a little bit more careless and not as concerned with like earning money, hence the being an artist. He has a luxury of being someone who doesn't really actually work. Is there an artist stereotype in like British media, British TV series? Because I think we kind of have that in American media as well.
Yeah, like is Jez playing into a stereotype in British culture of that artist that is an artist, i.e. freeloader for the sake of art in a way? If that's a stereotype in the UK as well, make sure you let us know down in the comments. Going the opposite direction, Superhands is an example of someone who's solidly working class, I'd say. He's basically the van man.
You get a van, Jez. We could be men with Ven.
And other indicators of his working class station are that he's not class insecure like the other characters on the show. He's also, oddly enough, despite being a druggie, he's not necessarily bad with money. He's always looking for work, he's always working, he's constantly improving himself. And at the end of the show, after 9 seasons, he ends in a suit with a respectable job, he has a house, he has all this stuff. Loses his girlfriend in the final episode, but hey, or wife. They're married at that point.
Wife, yeah.
Wife. But compare that with Mark and Jez, who have literally progressed not at all throughout the whole show. And I think the hero of Peep Show is Superhands.
I guess so.
Yeah.
On your bike, mate. Wait, is that right?
No, you just told him to leave.
Oh, whoops. I thought that meant like, good job. Oh,
I thought
dear.
on your bike meant like, get out of here.
Get out of here. Oh dear. I don't know.
You guys will have to clear that up for us.
Love's hard, mate. Fucking hard. But you've got to give it a go. Norwich are never going to win the league, but they still turn up every week, don't they? The pricks.
The next thing that Peep Show says about British culture is conflict avoidance.
It's fine. Luckily, we're all English, so no one's going to ask any questions. Thank you, centuries of emotional repression.
So it is a bit of a stereotype that English middle-class people will avoid conflict and resort to things like tutting or just shifting uncomfortably. And the show really supports that, in how Mark would rather give away his phone to some little child muggers or allow his relationships to slowly spoil like milk than engage in any sort of practical, real discussion with his partners.
He would also much rather get married out of embarrassment than because he actually wants to.
So what if I don't really love her? Charles didn't really love Diana and they were all right. Sort of.
He would rather endure the pain of a loveless marriage than take the shame of the
conflict.
Conflict, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
What, so you're going to get married to her out of embarrassment?
There are worse reasons.
How true is this in your life, especially if you're English middle class? When was the last time you got married out of embarrassment?
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Another thing that Peep Show says about the English middle class, let's talk about lack of confidence. Another aspect of Mark's middle class hesitancy is that he's constantly second guessing his decisions.
Maybe he doesn't mind. Maybe nobody minds about things as much as me.
This is something we see a lot of the middle class characters on the show do, and we've noticed this in other British sitcoms as well.
I think the reason this stands out so much is because in American sitcoms like How I Met Your Mother, Modern Family, etc., middle class characters do not have this same level of confidence lacking.
Theory, okay, I just had a thought. Maybe the reason for this is like Mark, you know, he represents the English middle class, and every decision that he makes is a reflection of not only his own decisions, but centuries of English culture, and he feels like this weight of history on his shoulders in a way that we as Americans don't quite have that weight. Does that kind of make sense?
The pressure of an entire monarchy riding on my shoulders.
Yeah, something like that. Let me know what you guys think. And while we're talking about TV, you know something that I hate?
Marmite?
Yes, but also geo-blocking.
Well, isn't that convenient? Because now it's time to thank today's sponsor, NordVPN. First, what is geo-blocking? Geo-blocking is a technology that companies and governments use to restrict content like videos, news, podcasts, and apps to certain regions of the world.
Computers, no.
For example, logging into your Netflix account in the USA will give you access to shows unavailable in the UK. Even YouTube looks different depending on where you watch from, with American YouTube giving you access to way more Channel 4 and BBC content than in the UK. This can be really frustrating, and was for us until we started using NordVPN.
The advantage of NordVPN is that it enables you to hide your IP address from the sites that you're visiting. Not only does this create a safer browsing experience, experience, but it also helps you get around geo-blocking. Now, whenever we want to watch a show, visit a site, or find a YouTube video that is blocked in the country we're visiting, we can simply switch our VPN location to another country and we're able to find it. Other security features you can add to your NordVPN package include NordPass, a password manager that helps you create strong passwords and gives you a secure place to save them all, and NordLocker, a file encryption program that helps you keep sensitive documents safe from viruses and hackers.
To help you stay safe online, NordVPN is offering massive savings to everyone who clicks the link in the description of this video.
Click the link in the description box or use our coupon code WanderingRavens at checkout to get 2 years of VPN coverage at 70% off and 1 additional month for free.
So to lock in your savings, click the link in our description and let NordVPN know that the Ravens sent you.
Now, back to Peep Show.
Next, let's talk about religion.
Did Jesus have a cat?
While religious people do make an appearance in Peep Show, they are the minority. This is in contrast to American culture where religion is very, very prevalent still. When we were in England, we noticed that religion there seems to be very much more part of the traditional culture almost. So it's like people are religious without being spiritual perhaps. Whereas in the States, religion is much more like deeply enshrined in who Americans are. It's something they actually believe.
And this is reflected in Peep Show, where the characters that are religious in Peep Show aren't necessarily fervently religious, but are more passively religious in the sense of they're participating in a tradition, but they're not going to try to compel Mark to also believe what they believe.
He is very decent, very wholesome. How can I steal his wife?
The next thing that Peep Show says about British culture is that you can get away without having a car. It was really entertaining to watch a show where most of the characters don't know how to drive. I kind of resonate a lot with that, even though I'm not a typical American, because most typical Americans know how to drive from the time they're like 15 or 16. I feel like I resonate more with the Brits on this one. I can't drive for shit.
Your license is actually expired.
Yeah, I should probably not be allowed to renew that.
The next thing that Peep Show says about British culture is that you better keep an eye on your builders. Whether it's the painter, the decorator, the plumber, or the builder, if there's one thing Peep Show says about this aspect of British culture, it's that you shouldn't trust these people.
You've got to just do it now, okay? It's your job. I'm ordering you to do it. I'm the boss, you're the worker.
And this is a stereotype that we have seen echoed across basically every British sitcom that we've watched. The builders cannot be trusted. They're out to take advantage of you. And if you don't keep an eye on them, they're going to eat you and run you out of house and home.
Another thing that Peep Show says about British culture is that the Brits love their cringy humor.
Unlike the other entries on this list, which are about the show itself, this is more meta. Basically, the fact that this show exists reveals that there is a certain demographic of the British population that really likes cringy humor.
Hey, Mark, would you like some?
No thanks.
Here, eat some turkey.
No, Jeremy, it's not my turkey.
This is something that you don't quite see over in the States. This sort of humor doesn't really translate well across the pond.
Yeah, it doesn't land well necessarily over here. You have to be a very niche person to find that amusing. And even for us, it took us a few episodes to really get into Peep Show, to get past the discomfort of certain social situations that happen within the show and to be like, oh yeah, okay, this is actually a great show.
I think we had to learn to stop empathizing with the characters and to start laughing at the characters. Because the American in me thinks every show has a hero. And so when you watch Peep Show as if Jez and Mark are the heroes, they're the main characters, and you want to root for them, then you're gonna be very disappointed. So you have to learn, you're not watching this to feel good about the main characters. You're watching this to laugh at the main characters, because unlike a lot of other sitcoms, especially American sitcoms, Peep Show has no hero figure. There are no good guys in this show. Everyone is varying grades of terrible. So those are some of the many things that Peep Show has taught us about British culture. But before you leave, do you have any questions about Peep Show?
Ooh, well, I have a lot, but one that immediately comes to mind is Johnson's character. All right, so like I understand different stereotypes about horrible bosses and things like that, But Johnson's character is one that I've never encountered in any other media, movie, TV show, or anything that I have ever consumed. It is just so confusing. Like, is he supposed to be a stereotypical British boss? Or is he just the total weirdo that I feel he is?
You have a property of which I wish to make a use. Is that so very different from hiring a solicitor?
Or is he the foil to Mark in a way? Because Mark has this weird fetish for Johnson, where when Johnson is mean to him, he finds it strangely attractive.
Because I'm going to turn you down as if you were a hippie parasite.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm the big man and you're a shitheel, right?
Brilliant. That is just so spot on.
Yeah, what is that stereotype that Johnson is filling? Because when it comes to like class stereotypes and things like that, we're not really sure where he fits. If you'd like more British culture analysis videos in your life, make sure that you subscribe for new videos every single Saturday.
And a huge thank you to our top tier patrons, Chris Peace and Andrew McKendry, for making videos like this possible. If you are interested in supporting our channel, the link to our Patreon is in the description.
Until next time, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Laters.